Let's get some nuts and bolts of BlablaCar out of the way. I have to ask you about the name. How did it happen? And have you ever thought about different names? I think your original name was a French word and a French URL. And then BlablaCar. If you tell me how it happened and what that name means to people when you first tell them, today.
Yeah, so the first name of the site was actually covoiturage.fr, which means essentially like ridesharing.com. So it's the French name, which is a descriptor for ride-sharing, if you like. And we've been using that name since the early days when Fred actually started the first website. And essentially we only transitioned back in 2011, so not that long ago, it was middle of 2011. And of course the reason was you cannot scale with a French name, it makes no sense. But the other one was the root of the name was the chattiness index on the website. So the chattiness index was when you sign up to BlablaCar and you create your profile, obviously we ask you for lots of information like your phone number, picture, your email. We verify your phone number, so we do a few checks. And then we ask you for a bio and a few informations about yourself, like smoking, not smoking, pets, no pets. And then one of the key things is how much you talk in a car. And that's what we call the chattiness index. And you can define yourself as a blah, 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 or blah, blah, blah.
Okay.
And that's how you talk in a car. And we found that it was like one of the key things people look at and declare actually in their profile is how much they want to talk or not talk in a car. And what we realized actually when it was called covoiturage under the French name, and we asked people like, okay, like especially when I was traveling, I remember between Paris and Brussels back then, I was always asking my passengers, I was using it as a driver, like, how did you find me? Which website have you used? And people were like, I used some covoiturage something website. And I was like, okay, and what do you remember about the site? And they could not remember the name, they could not remember the URL, they could not remember the colors, but they remembered the blah blah chattiness index.
Right.
So we thought, okay, that's like the sticky thing.
Right,
this funky thing is actually very sticky and it sticks to people's mind. And also it matters to people because if you think of the activity, we end up, even though it's an online service, we end up bringing like 2, 3, 4, 5 people together in a car for like 3, 4, 5 hours.
Right.
So you have these like human connections you create. And of course, you also create potentially some social discomfort. Like, do I want to talk? Do I want to talk to this guy? Who's this guy?
Right.
So the chattiness index was also like a bit of an icebreaker to say, if you say I'm a blah as a driver, it means, okay, I'm just going to listen to my radio and I'm not going to talk. And if you're a blah, 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 it means for you it's a social experiment, right? So you want to meet people.
Many technology entrepreneurs don't know how to pitch their startup, and when you're doing a startup you can't afford expensive PR people and things like that, so you have to pitch the media yourself, and they weren't doing it right. In London you have the financial industry, financial tech industry is very big, you have a fashion industry, it's very big, media is big, arts, culture, you name it. So all these vertical industries are all equally big. Silicon Valley is no longer a place, it's a state of mind. So if you have that state of mind, you can do anything.